A swarm of police that closed a road. What happened when police say they were chasing down a shooting suspect? And they're helping out those who need it the most. How this Utah organization is helping those experiencing homelessness stay warm this winter. And an athlete from Ghana training here in Utah for a shot at the Winter Games in Italy. The Olympian helping him in his last shot at these games.
Live and streaming. This is KSL Today.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us on this Friday morning. I'm Lori Pritchard. We're going to get to all those stories in just a bit. But first, we got Deja Brown following our traffic for us on this Friday morning. Matt Johnson, I told you this morning it is colder in Florida than it is in Utah.
And you know what? It is the most true statement, the wildest statement this morning that we've been talking about. And it's really cold back east as they've had a really deep plunge of Arctic air. It is now starting to moderate, but man, to be warmer than Miami in November, crazy. All right, this week we've got dry and mild weather through at least Saturday, but then changes show up on the doorstep in southern Utah tomorrow, where I think we could see some showers. And northern Utah, those showers move in by Sunday. Right now, current look at radar, we do have those showers trying to get going. This is really just Virga in central Utah. A couple of sprinkles have been hitting the ground in St. George. Forecast for today. You're getting the kids ready for school, mild. Look at this, 56 for the bus stop forecast. But I think some spots along Wasatch will be in the low 60s to start. We'll go 62 for recess, cloudy skies. There may be some threatening clouds at times, but all in all, I've got a forecast high in the mid and upper 60s, Deja. Yesterday, we were in the 70s, completely spoiled. Today, we're in the 60s, still 10 above the normal.
Completely spoiled for sure, Matt. Thanks so much. Well, some good news as you're waking up and heading out the door. We did have an earlier crash for drivers in Provo. It was I-15 southbound just before the Center Street exit. Thankfully, it has cleared. It had your right shoulder and your left shoulder blocked for just about 10 minutes, but thankfully we're not seeing any major issues. Here is where that crash was, and minor residual delays were on the approach, but as we saw from our camera there, we're not seeing any major issues. As you travel northbound I-15 from Point of the Mountain up to Salt Lake, it's a 22-minute ride. Your 215 interchange are moving up to speed. We had some earlier congestion southbound as you travel between North Temple and the 201 freeway, and our heaviest delays right now are actually on the 201 freeway as you travel eastbound near Bangor. We'll take a closer look at that coming up in just a bit, but if you're about to wake up and roll out of bed and hit the road, please take it easy. Lori?
All right, we begin this morning in Magna. Roads looking normal, but that wasn't the case last night. A major road was shut down and there was a massive police presence as police say they were working to arrest a shooting suspect. This all played out near 8400 West, 3500 South when more than a dozen police cars appeared to swarm a driver right in the middle of the road. A number of witnesses posted video to the Citizens app, and that's what you're seeing here. KSL spoke to a woman named Caitlin Fulmer over the phone who says this scene was chaotic.
There was at least an ambulance or another type of responder there, and a couple minutes later, a helicopter flew overhead at least 3 times over the scene.
Police telling us that while this arrest was happening, South Salt Lake investigators as well as a SWAT team searched the suspect's home in Riverton. Investigators have not released the identity of that person. And we're also following new developments in a deadly fall on Mount Superior in Little Cottonwood Canyon. It's the latest in a month-long series of incidents on that mountain. The Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office says a hiker fell on the south ridge of the mountain. The county search and rescue team found the hiker dead, saying it appeared to have been a long fall. And then just 2 weeks ago, the team was called on 2 different rescues in the span of 48 hours on the southern ridge of the mountain. One rescue involved 3 hikers stuck in the dark at 10,000 feet with temperatures in the teens. Weeks before that rescue, they had to save another hiker on the South Ridge who went off trail during a snowstorm. It took teams 90 minutes to get to that hiker who had hypothermia when they were found. There was a break in the storm so a helicopter could get in and hoist that hiker off of the mountain. Utah's first congressional district now looks a lot different after a judge struck down the state's map. It's entirely concentrated in Salt Lake County. Democrats are lining up to run in the district, including State Senator Kathleen Reeby and former Congressman Ben McAdams.
Strong Democrat from Salt Lake County.
I'm not afraid to stand up, and I'm not afraid to stand alone.
Well, the first district currently represented by Republican Blake Moore. His campaign says Moore plans to run for re-election, but it's not clear yet which district that will be in. Legislative leaders are promising to appeal this new map. And this morning, some functions of the federal government now back open, getting to normal after the federal government reopened. Others are going to take some time. Officials say certain federal employees should start getting back pay today. Some agencies are warning it could take another week to get all of their staffing back. National parks also reopening, many dealing with litter and graffiti after operating with skeleton crews. As for air travel, the FAA is continuing to restrict flights. And at the end of the federal shutdown, it's welcome news to families relying on SNAP food benefits, as those payments will now resume. The Utah Department of Workforce Services says that this has been a time of a lot of uncertainty for those families, and families are beginning to see some relief already.
We're excited that there's been a resolution and that customers will get 100% of the assistance that they need.
Administrators say Utahns will receive 100% of their benefits for the month of November by tomorrow.
All right, taking a look at your weather. Hey, low pressure system here swinging off that California coast, bringing in showers from Santa Barbara all the way to San Diego. Now, some of those showers have found their way into Las Vegas and points northward. A lot of this not hitting the ground in Utah, but we do have wind out of the south at upper levels. So that's going to support some really warm air again today, running 10 or more above the normal. Look at these temperature changes over the last 24 hours. Logan running 40 degrees warmer than yesterday at this very same time, 21 in Salt Lake. If we do the math, that means Logan was 24 degrees at this time yesterday. Impressive. 53 in Provo, 51 in Cedar City, and 55 in St. George. That cloud cover acts like a blanket in the overnight. Kind of keeps us mild. We've got 64 in Cedar City and 54 in Price. You look at Salt Lake. How about 66 today? Got your 7-day coming up in just a few days.
Excellent, Matt. Thanks so much. As you're waking up and rolling out of bed, we are keeping an eye out on your morning drive. Here's I-15 near the Spaghetti Bowl. As you travel north and southbound, your average speeds along this stretch are at 72 miles per hour. Haven't seen any major issues northbound as you travel into Davis County, but this is the problem spot I just told you about a few minutes ago. Eastbound on the 201 freeway traveling into Salt Lake, we're seeing some heavy congestion. Now, for the good news, no major accidents, but we are seeing some heavy congestion out there, so keep that in mind as you're heading out the door. Coming out of Tooele, I-80 eastbound coming out of Lake Point, we're seeing average speeds of 20 miles per hour. No major issues near milepost 100 near the edge of the Great Salt Lake. So as you're heading out, heading over to the airport and over to I-15, 44 minutes coming in from Tooele.
All right, Deja, thank you. A Utah service group who works with people with disabilities now planning on helping the homeless this morning. People with autism and other challenges have collected donations for the homeless, and this morning they're out giving them out. News specialist Brian Carlson is live downtown with our story. Hi, Brian. Good morning to you. Well, it looks like we don't have Brian this morning, so we're going to get to that story in just a bit once we get him. But we do know that this is something that is happening this morning. So if you see people handing out things to the homeless, well, that is one group that is really just trying to help out right now. All right, so I think we have Brian Carlson right now for us. Brian, you know, this is really a feel-good story because so many people want to give during the holiday season, and they say they want to give, but these people are actually doing it.
Yeah, you know, it's not only something that they want to be able to just be a part of, but there's something that they organize from the beginning and something that they don't normally get the chance to do. I'll explain that here for you. So this group called Buddies for Life, they wanted to find a way to give back for the holidays. They've been collecting donations to be able to give out to the homeless. Normally that's something is an interaction they may have, but this morning they're planning on handing it out themselves. So Buddies for Life, they've been actually doing this for the last 3 years. The group is based out of Clearfield. They work with people with disabilities who may have behavioral therapy or on different places of the spectrum. Recently, they've been helping collect things like winter clothes, food, blankets, tents, and other items there for the homeless. And this morning, they plan to head here downtown to make sure that they can get those to those who need them. Now, the program general director says it's more than just giving back. For their buddies with disabilities, it's a teaching opportunity as well.
By them being out in the community a lot, it makes them feel like they also belong outside of their own disability community.
Now, just like they've done in years past, the buddies will help set up tables and donations for the things they've collected. In fact, if you'd like to join them today, they're still accepting those donations. They're handing out those donations to the homeless. Some are right here on this block, 300 South, Rio Grande Street, from 10 a.m. until noon. And I even hear Santa is going to be here this morning. And Lori, if you know if Santa's involved, you know you're on the right track.
Santa, I know him.
Right?
Right?
You and Will Ferrell, right? You both know him.
All right, Brian Carlson live for us. Brian, thank you so much for that. It's a feel-good story for this Friday morning. We're happy about that.
It is.
It is. Another feel-good story this morning. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is preparing trucks full of food donations to leave next week that will go to food banks across the country. On Thursday, the church rolled out the first 5 of 250 semi-truck loads of food donations that will go to 250 food banks throughout the country. They'll leave next week for food banks in Oregon, Michigan, Arkansas, Texas, and Missouri. Each one contains about 40,000 pounds of food supplies donated by the church.
I'm reminded of an experience that I had in St. Louis, where doing a food box distribution, I spoke with a mother who shared how vital that food donation was to her family as she struggled with job insecurity and other economic concerns and pressures and challenges. Efforts like these have a real impact.
With these donations, the church is taking part in America 250 America Gives initiative. It runs through next year, also involves service, music, and family history. Well, we know we've got these warm temperatures. We've heard Matt Johnson talking about them. We've got sunny skies, something that we don't often see for this long in November. And while some are loving it, others are not, like skiers and ski resorts who are looking to get their season started. Like Beaver Mountain in Cache Valley, which is the only resort in the state relying entirely on Mother Nature for that snow.
Sometimes up here in Logan area, the base starts in November. And it hasn't yet. You know, it's still up at Beaver Mountain. It's still, there's no base, there's no snow.
As far as other resorts go, Solitude still aiming to open on the 19th. Brian Head, Park City Mountain say they plan to open on November 21st. And the million-dollar question is, Matt Johnson, are we going to see that snow in the coming days?
That is a million-dollar question.
That's why I'm asking you.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say no.
All right.
I don't think we'll see that first snow in the valley. But the mountaintops, I think we'll see some snow. But again, it's going to be high elevation, kind of a mild storm system. Brett Cutler with the credit here. A beautiful sunset yesterday. And look at this, folks. It was the close of a very, very warm day. This is exactly why they can't even make snow right now at higher elevations. We're hitting the 70s in the valleys, all record breaking from yesterday. 69 to 65 Bountiful Bench and even Woodruff. Yes, those are cooler than the 70s up here, but guess what? They're records for both those cities. I got a low pressure system in California, and that's why the flow's out of the south, drawing in warmer air from Arizona and a couple of clouds. So you notice those mostly cloudy skies. They continue through the latter end of today. They start to break up, though, by 5 o'clock. Southern Utah, you remain socked in. And notice what happens. Saturday afternoon, St. George, you have showers starting to show up. They'll start to spread northward. Look at that. 11 p.m. Saturday, could have some thunderstorms down there. Now, Sunday, we'll pick up more showers across the entire state, including the Wasatch Front. It's going to take some time for it to move in, though, but plan on, not shown here, at least 1/10 of an inch up north and 1/4 to 1/2 down in St. George. I'm going to have to check in on that graphic. It's doing something weird there. 60 in Manti, 57 in Ely. Down in the south, we're going to go for 60s and 50s, partly cloudy skies for the Four Corners. Up in the north, hey, beautiful day. Yes, we have clouds, but the temperatures, these are more than 10 above the normal, folks. I mean, 10 to 15 still above the mark. Here's a look at St. George. We're going to go for showers p.m. Saturday. Then we've got a couple more extended through Tuesday, and then we just keep it cool and dry after that mark. Wasatch Front, 66 to 65. Red numbers go to showers, cooler weather. In fact, that 7-day spread has a cooling trend steadily into next week, Deja.
Sounds great, Matt. Thanks so much. Well, let's get you out the door this morning. If you're traveling through Davis County, we're not seeing any major issues, so that is the good news. Here's I-15 near Hillfield Road in the Layton area. Your average speed here actually around 75 miles per hour. No major issues as you travel north or southbound, so let's check in a little bit closer on your Davis County commute. As you travel near 5600 south over in Roy, just be mindful of some construction there that has some lane reductions. But as you travel southbound from Ogden consistently, it's been a 32-minute ride. No major issues along Legacy this morning, and your surface streets are moving up to speed. So if you're traveling through South Weber over to Mountain Green along I-84, you're also relatively quiet. Heading into Salt Lake, you will see just a little bit of congestion on your approach to North Beck Street, but other than that, we are in the clear.
All right, Deja, thank you. Take a look at this. Chopper 5 giving us a look at Davis County's new warming shelter. People experiencing homelessness can now go to the Thalia Event Center in Clearfield when temperatures drop below 18 degrees. Unlike other warming centers along the Wasatch Front, this one will only operate during cold blue weather events. And the Davis County Health Department purchased the Thalia Event Center this summer after a contentious year on the location of its warming shelter. Last November, the shelter moved to Kaysville after Church of Fruit Heights rescinded an offer to host the center. Community members speaking out strongly against that decision.
Answers, we don't want the shelter. People that are coming to these homeless shelters do not want help. They're drug addicts. They do horrific things. I have small children. This is not why we elected you.
A state law requiring every county to have a warming center from mid-October to the end of April. Davis County is also asking for volunteers to help man this warming center. So you can find out more information on the county's website. And for the second week in a row, mortgage rates rose once again after reaching the lowest level of the year. Freddie Mac says the 30-year fixed mortgage averaged 6.24% for the week ending on Thursday. That's up slightly from last week. Mortgage rates have been steadily falling in the weeks leading up to the Fed's second rate cut of the year last month. They've held mostly steady since then while investors weigh the Federal Reserve's next move, but a rate cut is not expected. The IRS is increasing the 401k limit by $1,000. It's also raising the catch-up contribution limits for those 50 and older by $500. The limit on both types of IRAs are also being raised by $500. And the IRS announcing higher contribution limits for retirement plans, meaning you can put away more money for your retirement. And this morning, your Cheetos and Doritos, they're going to look a little different. PepsiCo is releasing versions that won't have any artificial flavors or dyes. That means the snacks will have a natural pale yellow color instead of the bright colors that you get on your fingers when you're eating it. The company says Simply Naked snacks will taste the same as the original. They'll hit shelves next month in Doritos nacho cheese and Cool Ranch flavors and Cheeto Puffs and Flamin' Hot flavors. Take a look at this. An athlete from Ghana is competing right here in Utah for another shot at the Winter Olympic Games. Now, right now, he's training with a new coach to make that final push for Italy. Kwasi Frimpong competed in the 2018 Winter Olympic Games for his home country of Ghana in skeleton. He didn't qualify for the 2022 Games, and he's giving the upcoming 2026 Olympics one last shot. He's using the Utah Olympic Park to train, and he has extra help from Salt Lake City's Zach Lund, who competed in skeleton for Team USA back in 2010 in Vancouver.
I was telling him the other day, even if I get 10% of who he is and what he was as an athlete in the sport, that's big.
Well, he has a few more races to go before knowing if he qualifies for this round of Olympic Games. He expects to have a better sense of that in mid-January. So good luck to him. An accidental chance encounter that keeps going viral for all the right reasons. You may recall of this heartwarming story over Thanksgiving. It was a chance meeting. It's still being written about 10 years later. Jamal Hinton received a group text from a random grandmother, her name's Wanda Dench, inviting him over for a Thanksgiving dinner. Well, when he told her that she'd had the wrong number, she told him, hey, come on over anyways. Well, this year they are spending their 10th Thanksgiving dinner together. All right, thanks so much for joining us here for this edition of KSL Today, a live look to downtown Salt Lake City. It is Friday. We hope you have a great day and a fabulous weekend. Thanks for being here with us.